Welcome back to another episode of Global Economics. I'm your host, Mickey Payne. Today we're diving into a critical topic that's shaping both the United States economy and the world around us. Tariffs. How do they affect trade? And what does the future look like as tariffs continue to play a role in global economic strategies? I'll be breaking it all down and exploring how these shifts are influencing investment opportunities and economic growth. Now let's get started. Before we get into the present and future, let's take a step back. Where was the United States economy as we closed out 2024? Well, in what I like to call the Benjamin Button cycle. So how does all of this tie into tariffs and their impact on the economy? Let's break it down. Tariffs, essentially, are taxes on imported goods. They raise the price of goods coming from other countries. And we've seen this play out in the past, especially during the first Trump administration, where tariffs led to price hikes on things like washers and dryers. But how much of the price increase actually gets passed down to consumers? Now, what about the broader impact? How many goods are actually being tariffed? Initially, during the trade war with China, Canada, and Mexico, a significant portion of United States imports, around 40 to 50%, were affected. But it's important to note that not everything gets tariffed. In fact, the United States has a tendency to carve out certain consumer goods like food and beverages to protect everyday consumers from higher costs. These carve-outs are critical to keeping the electorate happy and ensuring that inflation doesn't spiral out of control. When we look at tariffs imposed on European countries, it's clear that there's been a long-standing imbalance. On average, tariffs on United States goods entering Europe are about twice as high as those on European goods entering the United States. This plays into the idea that the Trump administration uses tariffs as a negotiating tool essentially. Fairness is the name of the game. You impose tariffs because if they're already on United States goods entering Europe, it only seems fair to match them. But what happens if the tariffs don't just stay in the United States-China sphere? Will Europe be the next target? In fact, many experts predict that, just as tariffs were used on China and Mexico, European countries may not be spared in the future. The administration's position on tariffs is simple. If European countries have higher tariffs on United States goods, they can expect to face the same treatment in return. It's a game of reciprocity and payback, and in a $30 trillion economy like the United States, this kind of power is not to be underestimated. So what does all this mean for Europe and the global economy? If tariffs were imposed on European exports, countries like Germany, whose economies rely heavily on exporting goods, could see a slowdown. That in turn brings everyone to the negotiation table. Looking forward, the world we invest in today is changing. We're no longer in the era of the neoliberal order, where everything was driven by free trade and low barriers. Instead, we're seeing a rise in protectionism, higher tariffs, and greater regulatory scrutiny. This shift is particularly evident when we look at the manufacturing sector. Many United States companies are looking to bring back manufacturing to the United States, and tariffs are a tool that encourages this. It is likely markets will continue to be volatile. Don't panic. Look to carve out some of your investments to alternative investments to help mitigate risk if you haven't already done so. That's it for today's episode. I hope this helped you better understand some of the complexities of tariffs and their impact on both the United States and global economics. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon with more insights into the world of economics. Until then, stay informed and stay ahead of the curve.